Hello everyone, my name is Mitty-Lee Millington and today I will be preparing Ackee and Saltfish with Irish potato and boiled dumplings. Now we're going to look at the chemistry behind preparing our Ackee and Saltfish and our boiled dumplings and boiled Irish potato. This is codfish or saltfish. With this now, our salt is applied to the codfish to preserve it. So what the salt does is it prevents or it slows down the rate at which the saltfish is spoiled. So it prevents the enumeration of the spoilage bacteria that may be present on the fish, and it significantly reduces the water activity. Through doing this, the fish is preserved. That is why when you go to the store, saltfish can be found on the shelves instead of being in the fridge, because the salt prevents spoilage. Here we have our Ackee fruit. Now, our Ackee fruit is very delicious, but on the same hand, it is very poisonous if not prepared properly or if not reaped at the right time. This would have been our ripe Ackees. So with our ripe Ackees on the tree, the pods are left to be opened by itself. So this would have been our mature Ackee, which is ready for cooking. This, on the other hand, is an unripe Ackee. So with the unripe Ackee now, it has a toxin called hypoglycine A and B to be more specific. So the hypoglycine that is present in this unripe Ackee is very dangerous and can cause death in humans. That is why we prepared these Ackees, which are already open on the tree. We're also going to be preparing our boiled dumplings. Now, this is flour. The state in which the flour is in now, it cannot be eaten. So through adding salt and water and creating a dough and boiling it, this will become edible in the form of dumplings. Similarly with the Irish potato, the state at which it is in now, it cannot be eaten because it has a very high starch content. So through boiling it, it becomes soft and more edible or more appealing to the taste bud. So now we're going to be boiling the saltfish. This will remove the excessive salt and also will make it more easy for preparations, making it softer. We will be boiling the Ackee, making it softer and removing any toxins that may be present, which will allow us to prepare our meal. Right here we have the saltfish boiling, and this is done to remove any salt that may be present. So, as you can see, the cloudiness of the water indicates the salt being removed from the saltfish. This is the saltfish after it has been removed from the boiling water. Now the saltfish have parts of it that are not edible. So this is one part. So we have to remove all the parts of the saltfish that are not edible and break it into smaller pieces so it can be cooked in the Ackee. This is the Ackee after it has been removed from the pod and the inner pink air removed. Now we have it in some freshwater air to remove any other toxins or any impurities that may be present on the Ackee. After washing the Ackee, we're going to boil it. Now through boiling the Ackee, we're going to remove any remaining toxins that may be present. So even though we picked the Ackee that is mature and we removed the pink substance in the middle of the Ackee, which is the core that also has toxins, we're going to have to boil it for some time to remove any additional toxins that may be present. In addition to that, we're going to boil it so that it becomes softer, so it becomes more appealing. So through boiling it, it becomes softer, easier to eat and more appealing. To add flavor to the Ackee, we're going to add thyme. So this will add flavor and also salt. So this will add some flavor to our Ackee. So now we're going to leave it so that it can boil. This is our Ackee after a few minutes. As you can see, it is boiling. If you were here, you could have smelled the aroma coming from the thyme. So this flavor is going to move into the water, and through that it flavors the ackee. So instead of plain white dumplings, we're going to be preparing some cornmeal dumplings. So instead of the plain white dumplings, we'll be preparing cornmeal dumplings. And as you see in the mixture, we have our cornmeal, our flour, and our salt. So we're going to mix this together, use some water, and prepare a dough. These green bananas have been peeled for a few minutes. Because of that, you can see a brown color on the surface. This is due to enzymatic browning. Now this is a series of chemical reactions that occur, including our polyphenol and our ethylene, and this results in our brown coloration seen here. Through boiling, we're expecting this color to be removed because it would disrupt the enzymes present, which are causing the color you see on the bananas right now. So this is the ackee after it has finished boiling. As you can see here, it is now soft. So this tells us that it is completely boiled and ready to be fried up with our seasoning and our saltfish. Here we have the saltfish after it has been boiled, and all the excess parts that are not edible removed, such as the skin, the scale, the bones. So this is the saltfish picked up or broken down into small size to be fried up with the ackee. Here I have the seasoning. So I have my scallion, I have my Scotch bonnet pepper, my garlic, and my onion. And here we have the boiled ackee with the thyme and thyme leaves on it. We'll be frying up the ackee and saltfish with the seasoning here. But before we do that, we're going to look on the pot with our dumplings and green banana. So here we see our dumplings, our boiled dumplings, and our green banana in the pot. So this opaque liquid that you see, so this started out as water, but as you can see here, the liquid, the steam, the liquid is starting to look more opaque, and this is because of the starch that is present in our banana and in our flour. So the reason why the consistency of the flour has changed after kneading it into a dough and boiling it, it's because of the starch being broken down. So through the starch, or when the starch is broken down rather, it forms this gelatin texture, and this is why we have the gooey jelly consistency of our dumplings. If we look at our bananas, before they were boiled, before we boiled them, they were darker than this, and this is because enzymatic browning occurred. But because through boiling the enzymes are broken down and they are no longer able to produce that brown color that we were seeing. Now we know that these are plants, or they're derived from plants. So as the seasons fry, the cellular structure of them will be broken down. So prior to this, they were a bit more rigid. So through adding the hot oil, or adding it to the hot oil rather, the cellular structure will start to break down. And while that occurs, the taste or the flavor from the seasoning will be added to the oil. So when we cook with it, so when we add our ackee and we add our saltfish in this and allow it to fry, those flavors will be transferred to our ackee and saltfish, giving it the desired flavor that we like. So now that we have our seasoning frying, and if you look closer, you can see where they look a bit slimmer or a little bit softer, and this is because the frying has been done, or it is frying. So you can see where the onion starts to look softer and it's more flexible, and they decrease in size. So now we're going to add our saltfish. So this is our saltfish added to our seasoning, and we are going to allow it to fry a bit. Afterwards we'll be adding our ackee. So now I have added my ackee, and I'm allowing it to fry with the saltfish and the seasoning. You can see our natural seasoning. You can hear it frying. So now that we have added our ackee to our saltfish with our seasoning, we're going to add some artificial seasoning to add some additional flavor. So even though we added pepper, ackee and saltfish is not ackee and saltfish without some black pepper. So I'm going to add the black pepper and the Maggi seasoning. This is our ackee after we've added our seasoning and our black pepper. Now the frying process is mainly to enhance the flavor of our ackee, so all of our seasoning that we added to it, and we fry it up with our coconut oil and the additional artificial seasoning. That is just to give our ackee more flavor and incorporate our saltfish also. This process is mainly to add flavor to the dish. So this is the finished product. We have the boiled dumplings and the boiled green banana. And here we have our ackee and saltfish.